Hey everyone, this is Brad. So today I'm going to do a video walkthrough for my Ruby gem called Gem Menu. It's basically a gem that helps you construct the menu interface for a command line or some other text-based app in Ruby. It is available on rubygems.org, or the source is available on my GitHub page. So for starters, I put together a simple little app with a pretty basic structure. In our bin folder here, we've got the file that will actually run, and it's requiring the config in the environment file here. In here you can see that we're requiring gem menu, and then some of our other files that are necessary. So inside the library folder here, we've got a concerns folder that has menus. We'll be building out these menus here in just a minute, and it's got menu helpers. These will be functions that the menus will end up calling as they get launched. And then the last thing in the library folder here is our actual, what I just called it sampler, but this is kind of our, when we go to run sampler up here, it's going to make this new class file and show it. So real quick, let's just run this real quick, and we can just see that basically it showed us that this will be the main menu, and it gave us this little show for hello world right here. So let's just go ahead and start constructing this main menu, and this is kind of the convention that you'll follow if you're using this gem, and that's that your menus are going to be made up of entries. So whenever I'm making a new menu, I always kind of initialize an empty array called entries, and then I start putting into those entries what it is I want to display. And I'm going to walk through this a little bit more here. In just one second, and I'll kind of explain what's happening here. Okay, and 1 second. Alright, and we're back. Cats decide they need to interrupt. Okay, so basically I'm making a new gem menu entry here. The first value here is what's actually going to be displayed on the menu. This second value here is the method that's going to be called. Now I don't have a hello method, or no, actually I did already create it. So in the menu helpers, this is just kind of how I separate out the various parts of the app and of the menus, right? So I've got these menus. This is all that we're going to have in here is stuff that's being displayed, and over here we put the helpers where the actual work gets done. So basically we have this, what's going to be displayed on the menu, and then the method that is associated with. Once we have all of our entries put together, then we just make a new menu. And again, we pass to it what we want the menu to display, what its name is, and we pass it all of our entries. Now over in our over here where we're in our sampler class, when we initialize that sampler class, it creates a new instance variable called menu, and it assigns it the value of main menu, which is going to be this gem menu that gets returned. For our show, I'd just like to do a simple little loop, and we'll talk about what's happening in this loop here in just 1 second. So this retrieve selection is it's basically it's a method that you can call on these menus, and it takes care of, first of all, displaying the menu in a nice readable format, but then it waits for the user input, and it checks to make sure that the user input matches one of the values that's on the menu. So let's just see what happens now when we run this. And there we have we can see main menu. It's called main menu because we told it to call it that right here. And these are the entries that we gave to it. And you'll also notice it puts an exit option in here. So real quick, if I pick, for example, I told you that it will make sure that it's a valid selection. So if our user hits number 3, it's going to alert us that that's not valid. If I hit 2, it's going to take care of saying hello. It's going to say world, which is what was in this our worlds method. If I hit 1, it says hello. You'll also notice under these helpers, at the very end of it, we redirect it back to whatever menu we want to. So by putting this in here, that tells it that it's going to display the main menu when the user gets done, or after the user makes that selection. So let's see another option here. So oftentimes in a command line interface, you might have some nested menus. So let's make a nested menu here, and same sort of going to follow the same conventions here. Actually, I'm just going to copy paste some of this. And I want these to be some new methods here, and let's call this our nested menu. And now we need to add those helpers real quick. And just so we know that we're getting something different, let's put from nested here. And where do we want this to return? Well, I think in this case, we want it to return back to that nested menu rather than the main menu. And let's give this a quick run and see how this looks. Okay, so, oops, I forgot to add to our entries our nested menu. There we are. So now we can see the nested menu showing up. When I hit number 3, we can see that we're taken to that new menu. If I pick these options, 1 and 2, we can see that we're getting those options. The big problem that we have here though right now is that we can't get back to our main menu at all. So to do that, there is some optional arguments that can be passed on here. Basically from when we're making that the menu object, we can pass in some optional arguments such as a previous menu, and I feel like that's optional arguments equals, typing this wrong. Here we go. Previous menu is going to be there we go. So now we're saying that the previous menu is going to be the main menu. That's what I thought. I did something wrong here. Let me resize this here. one too many. There we go. So if a previous menu is sent as an optional argument, gem menu will add in this back option, which if the user selects B, it'll take them back to the previous option. If there isn't a, I was going to say if there's not a back, but obviously we've seen that if there's not a previous menu option, then nothing will be displayed. So again, we can go in here, picking those options takes us back to the previous menu, and hit back. Exit is available from any of the menus. So yeah, that's how you can pretty easily construct a command line interface using this gem. There's one other option wanted to show, and I'm trying to think here what would be a good way to. Let's do one more helper here. Trying to think if this is a good approach to showing this other option. Here we go. This will be a better one. Okay. So we're going to make one more menu here. And so for this one, there's some optional arguments that can be created when we're making a new entry, and so basically I just want to show how that can be done. So let's see here. How do I want to do let's see. Is this what I want? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think this will work here. So basically we're just going to loop through 5 times here, making a menu entry. What did I call this? I called it double. And our optional argument is going to be a parameter. Okay. There we are. We need to make sure that we add the doubler to our original main menu. Okay. let's exit out of this. Let's try running our sampler again. Oops. Unexpected. Oh, did I miss oh, that's what happened. Let's try that again. Still a syntax error. I'm missing parentheses somewhere. Yeah, right there. Okay, there we are. And so let's see what our doubler menu looks like. It's not liking that. What did we do wrong? Optional arguments. Print. What did I do wrong? Double. I might have to Okay, I'm gonna have to look up my weather gem repository real quick. I'm doing something wrong in my syntax here. Let me pull this up real fast, see what I'm doing wrong. Hmm. Oh. That would be what it is. Or not. Oh. Gem menu. Okay. Okay, there we are. Lots of little syntax issues. So first off, needed to make sure that I was sending this as a string, and then I wasn't properly calling the method here. That was the biggest issue. But now should see that, again, getting back to what I was wanting to show off here, was that basically we can send a parameter to the function if our function requires some sort of input. So if I pick number 4 here, I'm getting a nil. Why am I getting a nil? Let's go to because I didn't tell it where to return to. So that's what's going to happen if you end up calling a function that doesn't point to a new menu. It expects to receive back a menu object at the end of every function, so it knows what to show the user. So let's try this one more time. There we are. I picked option number 4, which was a 3, and it displayed 6. So again, the whole point here is just that you can pass on other parameters to the functions. You know, or your functions can be more complicated. Over here in this weather CLI, you know, when users pick an option, sometimes it's launching a large chunk of code that that can happen. It doesn't have to be just some simple 1 or 2 lines of code. So anyway, that's the quick walkthrough for this gem menu CLI. So thanks for watching.